And I brought him in, and she looked at him and said, well, they definitely have to come out. I'm going to send you up. I'm going to call up to ENT and see if they have an opening. And so we went up there, and the surgeon came in. Her name is Dr. Sandra Edema. She's amazing. And she came in and looked at him and said, I think we're going to take those out tomorrow.
Wow.
And I was like,
You probably weren't even
okay.
expecting that.
Not
huh?
even at all.
So you were thinking just as a mom, wow, tonsillectomy, kind of stressful, like that would be the worst case scenario.
Myself and all of my siblings have had a TNA, a tonsil and adenoidectomy before, and it's really not, I mean, while all surgeries have potential risks, it's not that big of a deal, you know? And so that's what we were thinking is what it was. They did say to us when we got there that one of his tonsils did look suspicious and that they were going to send it to permanent pathology, but we didn't. Well, he had
She
like.
was suspicious because one was larger.
There you go.
She was suspicious because one was larger than the other. So she knew it was something weird. We just didn't know what yet.
Yeah, and so we came in for surgery the next day, and they told us it was going to be about 45 minutes, and it took 2.5 hours. And because the tumor was so large, and the kind of lymphoma that he has is so aggressive that they estimated that it doubled in size in like 72 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he had another one develop after we went home, after they did other tests for him. Because
So just in a matter of days?
days, yeah.
Wow.
The other one actually went from the size of a nickel to the size of a quarter in about 2.5 or 3 hours.
It went from nothing to the size of a quarter in about 18.
quickly?
Yeah. Like,
That was it was actually because
totally
of that one that they started the
that
chemo on the
big.
29th. It was scheduled for like the 31st or
Because
something
his
like that.
birthday is the 29th of July.
They were
and
trying
so
to
they were going to
avoid
let
it.
us be at home for that because it's his 5th birthday. But when that developed, we had to come in.
So they started the chemotherapy on his birthday.
On his
Yeah.
5th birthday, yeah.
That
But
had to
they
be a
were-
tough birthday, huh?
It was, but they were really great. Like, they brought him a cake, and they brought him presents and pizza upstairs, and he was
Did
so
they?
excited.
You
Yeah,
remember that,
Yeah.
buddy? You remember?
Had it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had pizza
Because
here.
we was eating and I was sleeping and I was coughing and Kevin was here.
That's his uncle.
Yeah.
My younger brother came out.
Okay.
And
Did
he
you-
was far away.
Yeah. Did they sing you?
They
Did
live
they
in
sing you Happy
Carbondale.
Birthday?
Do you remember?
They say Happy Birthday to you.
Did the people here bring you gifts? Do you remember what they brought you for your birthday?
Gifts.
What'd
too?
you get here? Do you remember?
You remember what you got? What
Blankets
blankets?
with toys.
What
Heidi.
was
Oh, go ahead.
what was that day like for you? I mean, it's his
I've had
birthday,
better.
and yeah, I can imagine.
It was pretty rough. When they told us, one of the things that really helped us when we found out, I called my brother. My brother had got cancer, a entirely different type, when he was 15. And he went through surgeries and chemo, and he had about 2.5 or 3 years of some real rough times. But he is currently a strong, full-grown man.
Yeah.
And he was a good beacon for us to realize it will get better. Not all of this is sad. And it helped give us hope and really see what could come of it. And it's been good having him around, and it worked. The hope and the prayers.
It just sounds like that was, a hard time for all of you, Did you know at that point, what was going to happen in the future? What did they know at that point?
They, because of the type of chemo that it was, it's something they've dealt with a lot as far as how they treat it. It is a pretty standard thing. So they gave us a 90% survival rate because which is generally good for just cancer as a whole. So we were pretty happy with that just because they've done that type of treatment so many times.
Yeah.
So things could look good. And because of his type of cancer and the treatment, they said that if we make it past the first year, the chances go to like 98, and past the second year, it goes to 99 if there's no recurrences. So they were able to tell us a lot as far as what's going to happen through the plans ahead. He unfortunately had to come back in for a little sickness along the way that was unexpected. There was a couple extra hospital stays. But
how did you explain all of this to Gryphon? How did you explain to him, what
was-
started out as a tonsillectomy
That was
now
really, really hard because he didn't feel sick, you know? And so he came in and he had his surgery and he felt awful. And then he would feel better and we would bring him here and he would have his chemo and then he would feel sick.
So it's
and
like
so
telling
it was
him,
really
when
hard
you don't
to
feel sick, we're going to make you feel sick.
It was really hard
but-
to explain
yeah.
to him as a 5-year-old that no, we're taking you to the hospital is actually going to make you better, even though every time we take you there, it hurts and makes you feel sick.
Yeah.
You know.
Was it hard to get him in the car and get
No,
him here to know where
he's
going?
pretty cooperative. I mean, he trusts us. We have, but it was so hard to explain to him that this is actually for his own good. You know,
When did you know that you had turned a corner and that things were looking pretty good, that he was gonna make it?
Honestly, once we had a plan, like once they presented us with a chemotherapy plan and a prognosis, I was pretty positive. I mean, I'm a nursing student, so I had faith in medicine. But the worst part was we didn't know for like 12 hours. I mean, we were waiting for the oncologists to do their tests and to check the slides from his tonsil. And so we were just, like, the cancer bomb was dropped on us, and then we just had to wait.
Yeah.
And so we had no idea. Like, I knew lymphoma was cancer, but I didn't know if it was the kind of cancer that you come back from or if, they were telling me that my child was going to die. Nobody came and told us.
How did you
that.
spend those 12 hours?
We were kind of a wreck. we were
Were you here at the hospital or were you
Yeah,
at
we
home?
were here because he was in recovery from surgery, and his recovery was more extensive than it normally would have been because the tumor was so big they had to take out a lot of extra tissue in his throat.
Yeah.
Dr. Niebrugge and Brandt did a very good job of informing us as much as possible, and the knowledge that they were going into it with really helped to give us confidence.
Like once they came to us with their plan and with their information, and they came in full force. Like it was kind of like they didn't want to tell us anything before they knew, and then have to retract or backtrack and be like, oh, actually we were wrong. So in a way, it was good because when they came to us with the information, it was total.
Yeah.
Like they were like, okay, and this is what he has, and this is what we're gonna do, and here's all this information, and here's the drugs we're going to give him, and this is when it's going to start, and this is when it's going to stop. And it was just like, and this is the chances. I mean, they had it all. But it was 12 hours.
That had to be the longest 12 hours of your life.
It really was.
Yeah, I can just imagine how
So,
hard that had to be.
The
Tell us,
staff here, though, did a really good job of making us feel comfortable and always being there.
Yeah.
so they were taking care of your emotional needs and Gryphon's, dealing with
they're
all of you
amazing.
at the same time.
It was
It's
a really
really-
big deal that they were there for us so that we could be there for him. It
Yeah.
really helped.
Yeah, that kind of sums up the staff right there in that one sentence right there,
does.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wait,
So how's Gryphon doing today?
yeah,
He's a normal 5-year-old.
yeah.
Yeah, he's great.